Welcome to Film Fu, where the cutter cleans the kicks. I'm Shifu Payne, and... Oh, that music can't help but get you pumped. Seriously, put that on next time you're doing a workout, and you'll feel like you can take on Shao Kahn.
When it comes to adaptations, it seems that the hardest medium to get right is video games, which shouldn't really happen. You have a cast of characters, a story, a villain, and a world already set up and ready to go.
How hard is it to make a film out of that?
Well, then there come several hurdles. For one thing, there are people that just don't understand the appeal of video games, dismissing them out of hand or calling them a lesser art, leading to them not paying attention to the intricacies of the games and just telling their own story with the IP. Or maybe there's just something unreachable in video games, that experience of controlling the character and exploring this world in your own time.
But then you have those times where it seems someone does understand the appeal but just doesn't get the support that they need.
Enter Paul W.S. Anderson, a director, writer, and producer that over his career has worked on many video game-related projects, who set out to bring the Fighter franchise to the silver screen. Released in 1995, the film stars Robin Shou, Lyndon Ashby, Bridget Wilson-Samfras, Christopher Lambert, and Kari Hiroyuki Tagora. The film was also written by the creators of the franchise themselves, Ed Boon and John Tobias, as well as Kevin Droney, who was the main one to translate the games into the screenplay. The film contains a lot of attention to detail and adherence to the franchise that actually shows the love that went into the creative process.
Will that love be a help or a hindrance? Well, let's find out as we take a look at the plot.
Once a generation, a tournament is held to determine the fate of the realms in the Mortal Kombat tournament. And this year, if the dark realm of Outworld wins, they will be allowed to invade and conquer Earth. This time brings Liu Kang, played by Shou, Johnny Cage, played by Ashby, and Sonya Blade, played by Wilson Samfras. With the help of the Thunder God Raiden, played by Lambert, it's up to our trio to win the tournament, save the Earth, and survive the perils of Mortal Kombat.
Probably the most important component to get right in this film is the characters, those instantly recognizable faces of the franchise that everybody loves. So, how's the characterization in this film?
Okay, the setup is decent, as we quickly get an idea of what these guys are all about. Johnny Cage is the arrogant star that's all about his image, Sonya Blade is the serious militant one.
Okay, so what about Liu Kang, the brown bread of the franchise? That's right, I said it, who wants a piece?
Well, with Liu Kang, they seem to have given him Kung Lao's backstory, making Liu the descendant of the great Kung Lao, but aside from that added a revenge plot with his brother getting killed in a previous tournament. A more personal goal than it being a sense of duty to the Shaolin monks of the games, which is just part of the adaptation process. Liu Kang is the protagonist, and so you need to make him more relatable. But does that mean we get strong character arcs?
Well, it's always a great sign when the characters need to be told what their arcs are.
Johnny Cage needs to learn to fight for something other than himself, so he fights Goro in an act of self-sacrifice, as up to that point, no one has walked away going up against him. Conversely, Sonya needs to learn to be more open and rely on her teammates. Well, then Sonya gets kidnapped and has no choice but to rely on her friends to get out. But with that being said, those progressions are stretched a bit and kind of loose.
Look, it's screenwriting 101. Show, don't tell.
If you need to tell the audience what the characters need to learn instead of showing it, it might be a good idea to have a rewrite or two.
Well, even if those storylines are lacking, at least we've got Scorpion and Sub-Zero now. There's a story.
A warrior who loses his family, selling his soul to get his revenge on the one responsible, only to be manipulated and made a pawn in a larger scheme.
Now that's a story worthy of the silver screen, so let's see how... Actually, it kind of makes sense.
Having the two most recognizable faces of the franchise in the film but not taking over or pulling focus away from the trio of protagonists, leaving room to explore their story in a sequel.
It's just a shame we never got a sequel to this film. Never. Never. But let's be honest, we're not here to explore characters or motivation. We're here for blood. We're here for gore, for action, for blood-dripping, spine-tingling violence. That's what the franchise is known for. So let's take a look at... Oh, come on!
Yeah, a consequence of the film being produced and distributed by New Line Cinema was that the film had to be made a PG-13 to make the film more accessible to the teenage audience they were aiming for.
Oh, this is starting to upset me. Play the theme again. That's the stuff. Whatever. At least the action can still be good even without the gore. right?
Well, we have a lot of options for what to look at today. We've got the fight between Johnny Cage and Scorpion, Liu Kang vs Sub-Zero, the fights with Goro. The scene I finally settled on today is the final fight of the film between Liu Kang and Shang Tsung, taking place after Shang Tsung kidnaps Sonya Blade and...
Sonya, my sweet Sonya.
Bad touch, dude!
Wait, how did she get into that outfit? Did Shang Tsung put her into it?
FBI, open up!
Liu Kang challenges Shang Tsung with hair like mine when I was a kid.
Or now.
With a bow to respect, the fight begins. In terms of training, Tagawa has trained in Japanese karate from the age of 21, while Shu learned Kempo but switched to Wushu after getting bored of the martial art. A nice bit of hand-to-hand to start the fight with a nice medley of strikes, parries, some elbows, plus a roundhouse from Liu. Ooh, a sweet grapple from Shang. With that, the camera direction here is not bad. The cuts are here, but not so much as to distort the perception of the viewer. The bird's eye view gives a decent idea of the layout. It seems they also took a leaf out of the Jackie Chan book, as they repeat the grapple move 3 times as the camera cuts to a new shot, to help the viewer string the cuts together. With a right hook from Liu, the first wave is over.
Considering how you got caught with that right hook that was telegraphed from a mile away, who's really the fool here?
Anyway, Shang decides to pawn the fight off on the souls he's collected. That fails, so he decides to play a mind game on Liu by pretending to be his brother. Here's where Liu Kang's arc comes to play, as his arc has been about facing up to his responsibilities and feelings of guilt about his brother's death, feeling as though his brother wouldn't have died if Liu had been at the tournament the first time around and lived up to his duty. What Liu is experiencing is a sense of irrational guilt. Liu did not tell his brother to enter in his place. Liu had no control over whether his brother did or not, but the fact that he doesn't know what could have happened leads to his feeling of fault, when the truth is that he had no control over it. With this realization, the fight continues. That's quite the throw there. By the looks of it, I would say it's from Aikido.
Let's break down the effectiveness of that, shall we?
To throw someone like that, you would need leverage, the overcoming of mass to move the object. To create that kind of leverage, you would need to decenter that object balance. By, say, placing a foot in front of the opponent's foot, you would also need to put the whole body into the motion, not just the arm. This just looks like Liu jumps into it to give Shang a boost, which is how most of these sorts of moves work to properly do the stunt.
Oh hey, it's the drum technique!
Eventually, Liu pins Shang and backhands him in the nose. That's just hilarious. One more time. More hand-to-hand and a punch to the gut. Okay, I swear Liu is channeling Bruce Lee here, which he is, as Liu Kang is probably modeled on Lee in the first place. A side kick with a combo of body shots and a double cross to the face, and again, love it.
Yeah, take this, you walking sex offenders registry!
A cannon blow from Liu Kang finally sends Shang Tsung straight into the spikes below, freeing souls, saving Earth, and
Flawless victory.
And that was Mortal Kombat. A great time, loads of fun, still a shame there was never a sequel. Never. 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 So with all that being said, what can we learn from this film?
from a martial arts perspective, taking a source at its word is not helpful, especially when it comes to technical techniques, such as throws or grapples. Sure, it looks like it works, but without trying it for yourself, you don't know the ins and outs. It could be smoke and mirrors for all you know. Don't underestimate the value of researching, testing, and really criticizing these sorts of moves, rather than just trusting them at their word.
Finally, it has got to be said that the passion on display in this film is obvious.
Anderson was obviously a fan, or really did his homework, and you can just feel that. Sure, it's flawed, and he had limitations placed on him, but you can tell he was trying to make the best product he could. And there's something to be said in that.
Life is not easy. Nothing is easy. You'll stumble, you'll falter, people will place high expectations on you, or there'll be unseen hurdles up the next corner. But you don't stop. You don't give up. You know what you're worth, so you give what you're worth, and you turn out the best product you possibly can.
You never know. You hope for the best, then make do with what you get.
Thank you for watching this week's video, and in the comments let me know if you've seen this film and what you thought of it. Like I said, I thought it was very flawed in places, but I still had a great time with it and I thought it was great fun. I definitely will be watching it again. But with that, until next time everyone, close us out with that theme once again. Yeah, okay, I'll allow it. See you next time.